I just wanted to make sure it couldn't be heard. Only I can hear it on the video because I own nothing. Disclaimer, la la la. So I've got this on again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just running out of clothes that fit. Everything is too big, and then it just makes me look so much bigger, on video. And you saw the workout calendar, you know. But I've kind of like splurged a little during the holiday. I never eat pork ever, but during the holidays I'll have like a slice of ham or something. And I eat a lot of stuff I normally would not eat. But you know, but the holidays, and you just take a little extra time to take it off, but I still work out and whatever, trying to incorporate at least a little walk, a stretch and a little walk. And with all the Christmas running around, I've had plenty of exercise. So, I think I was talking about, oh, I knew what I wanted to talk about. Um, when we were at the end, like of the last video, I said something. When a song came on, I went, "Whoa!" That's what's one of the songs from my World War II story. A lot of times, um, I'll get an idea from music, or a certain like scene will develop kind of like a video, like a video of that song, but using the characters in the book. And there's quite a few for the World War II, but because I think number one, I think the main thing is because she's a performer, so she'd be very conscious of my cat is snoring. Um, I was saying something like, oh, because she's a performer, a lot of her and her, lover, the one that's gone away to the camp, is actually a vocal coach, is a, famous composer, whatever. That it lends itself more to music, and the actual um, how I was going to work this whole thing out actually occurred because I think I've talked about this before. My son left a CD at my house one time, and he'd come over and he'd be playing the CD while he was doing whatever, and then he left, and I think he left it there once or something, or he left to go somewhere, and I played it while he was gone, and there was this one song, and I just kept going, and like I don't know about like other writers, but I have that um I just see it happening in my head. I actually see the um the movement of the people. I could see this woman walking down the street, and I knew it wasn't this time because I knew that the way she was dressed, and that she was wearing a hat, and that was like, that's so fashion. Okay, she's wearing a hat. That's crazy, and her hair is pressed, and curled. And I went, ooh, okay, I just kind of looked at her as she was walking along. And what really struck my mind was that she had her packages were wrapped in like brown paper and string, and nobody wraps things like that anymore. And I thought, okay, well, so what's going on? What's going on? And then it just came to me that she was going to the theater because, like I said, I was doing a lot of when I really cemented this. I was doing a lot of theater work at the time, and I thought, okay, well, she's going to work. Where's she been? I mean, that's what you do. You ask questions like that. And then I saw a car, like watching her, watching her walk, and someone inside the car was watching her walk down the street. Because I think I said in the second draft of the story how they meet the hero, quote unquote, and my performer, Parisian performer, is that, well, we don't know it at the time, but what he does is he sets up a situation so he can come and save the day. He gets a couple of his soldiers to, get kind of rude with her and, kind of, push her around, not literally push her around, but, give her a hard time. And then he came up to rescue. But we don't know at this time that, that's what he's done. We don't know that, when we're reading the scene of what actually happens, and you know he cons his way to a ticket for the show, and that kind of way, and that's how he eases himself in. So that's when I thought, okay, he's the one in the car. He's the one in the car. And then I went, okay, something's wrong. What's wrong? What's wrong? And like this was like all going on while the song is going on. And so I was like, okay, is something wrong? What's wrong? Is something wrong? And then that's when the like, I don't know if it's like a camera in your head. I don't know how to describe it, but it pulled back. And that's when I saw the, insignia on the antenna of the car, and I went, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? What's going on?" And then that's pretty much when like it started like engraving itself, into my brain. And so I just started playing that song over and over again. And then that's when I said, like I said, when we had to in the class I was in, a novel idea, you had to submit something, something during the class period. You had to submit something. I submitted that um, in the form of a play. And then that's when it really came to me that that would be the second book. Like I said, I always wanted to write a book about that era, but I didn't have enough expertise to write anything that would be taken seriously by serious scholars, or that would be any more informative than any other brilliant stuff we read in over the years. But I wanted to kind of like there's this movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And what it's about is, and the author kind of said something like along the same lines, and he wanted to do something, but he wanted it to be like fiction, you know. And what it is, to make a long story short, I'm not going to go into the whole thing because it gets real complicated, but basically the commandant of the camp son meets a boy that's in the concentration camp. The commandant's house is a little ways away, of course, from the camp, but the boy finds his way through the woods and stuff like that. And read the book first. Read the book first. And then, but you won't be disappointed by the movie. And I know that happens all the time. Oh man, you're sitting there going, what is this? But it's because your brain works when you read something at such a um, magnificent scale that anything somebody could reproduce can't match what you see. I mean, it just can't. But this book is the movie's very, very close. Well, it kept the same spirit. I'll put it this way. So anyway, the commandant's little boy is bored. He's used to having a lot of friends when they lived in Berlin, and he, had a lot of. So now he's here, at the camp. There's no other kids around, and he gets out the back gate some kind of way, and he goes to the woods, and he comes up on the camp, and there's a guy, and he thinks it's a farm. The little boy thinks it's a farm. And and he thinks the people are wearing pajamas, basically. And it's the friendship between the two little boys. And I mean, I read it, and I had read the review. You know how when you flip open, I had heard about the book, I don't know where. And you know how you flip open the cover and it says, you'll read in one sitting. I read in one sitting. I sat down and read that book all the way through. My book's too thick to do that. I don't. You won't be able to. I'm trying to think of the next book I did like that. It was a book called Gang Leader for a Day, and it was about a graduate school. Or I think he might have been going for his PhD, maybe going for his doctoral. I guess they do a thesis. I know we had to do for masters had to do a thesis, but he was infiltrating a, a gang, I guess. And so and he just followed the gang leader around and wrote about it. That was pretty, pretty much put it in the purse every second you get, read it. That was very, very interesting. My book is interesting in that way, because sometimes I'll start reading it and I wrote the darn thing. Now, any doggone time that I'll make myself, okay, you got to stop reading. Plus, and but 99% of the time I'm reading, I'm looking for hiccups. That's what I call them. Things that don't go over smooth. And at this point, I'm just glancing at. Well, I put it away. I put it away. I put it away. Oh, so go back to the story, and then um, that's when I realized what, and I didn't realize even to myself that he had set this up till afterwards. And it's a scene where he is like, none of this is really on paper quite yet, but there's a scene when he's paying off the three, soldiers that he's apologizing for, having them, to be, on quote unquote barracks arrest, that they couldn't come out to barracks, on their first weekend in Paris. But it kind of read between the lines that this officer saw to it they had a little companionship and a little wine, but like he explained that she couldn't see them walking around after he had you know restricted them to barracks. He couldn't. So and that's when you find out, that's when the reader finds out. Well, now but that's when the reader finds out that he actually set this up. He actually set this up. But the one I'm working with now, it it doesn't, that doesn't work with him. I don't know, it's a personality thing. I can't see him tricking her like that. I can't see, you know, and I thought and plus too, his rank is higher and he's a little bit older. So I think when he met her in Switzerland, I think it was just a challenge, something, hey, for his, how people say a bucket list. He was going, oh yeah, yeah. But she's really attracted to him, but she pushes him away, and that's what's so poignant about the how the book opens with its 4:20 in the morning, and he's banging on her door, you know, and of the hotel where they're both at the spa, where they're both staying at her bungalow. And is the irony is that that very night was the night she was gonna finally give in to him. And that was a lot of frustration. That's why that scene is so poignant. And that's why when he shows up at the club, at the nightclub, and just walks in, in his uniform, that music is going to come on a little while, and you're not going to be able to hear it, but I'll be able to hear it. And just it was just I don't know why this particular. Well, I first heard this particular song. Um, Something was wrong with my radio station. I couldn't get it in, or something, or I was having one of my bipolar moments, and for some reason wanted to listen to a new radio station. Don't ask me why. Um, and it was kind of like the end. I don't know if like the I like the independent music, that kind of music, that kind of, I don't know what you call it in music. I know it's independent films and film and theater and stuff like that, but it's something like that. And it was some really good music on it, and I heard a version of this particular song and I went, oh my, I mean, it stopped me in my tracks. You know, there aren't many songs that stop you in your tracks, but this one stopped me cold in my tracks. And I just went, what is the name of that song? And I kept going on the computer trying to find it. I really couldn't find it. Then I went to Japan. My son tried to help me find it, and finally he found a live version of it on YouTube. And but I found out the original. It's one of those songs that you play 10 times in a row if you don't stop yourself. It's one of those. And it's not one of those where you hear something different every time. It's just um I don't know. It's like your brain's not ready to let it go after one time, and then it's not ready to let it go after two times. It's that kind of thing like that. Um, so when I heard this particular song, that's when I envisioned in my mind him just walking in, because I couldn't think, because for one thing, I couldn't justify her still loving him. And it had been done. So when he came that morning, I actually in one draft had him actually saying something like, "There's something I need to tell you. I have to tell you something," and then the horn blowing or something like that for him to that he had to go. But I thought no, no, no. There's nothing to tell. There's nothing. There's that he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say that unless he was going to tell her, and of course he would never, tell her. So I couldn't. I don't know. It was something. It was just like I couldn't figure out how to get them. Like I said, the second draft, so called. He's stationed in Paris. He's there all the time. He gets stationed there. He's there. He finds out about this performer once he gets there. Blah blah blah. And gets obsessed with her, whatever. But this time, because they're not together, I think I said that too in another video, because they're not together enough like that. He's at his duty station, she's at her um in the nightclub and doing different stuff she's doing. When they're together, it's very intense, because they're together for 3 intense days, and then they don't see each other for a couple of weeks, and then they, which is going to be hard in terms of but it's really nothing to ease into in terms of their relationship, because it's pretty much started off the page. I mean, it's already happened. It's already happened. They're already basically pretty much, because these letters that they've sent back and forth, they're pretty much in love by the time. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is. Sometimes I really think he is, but I kind of know she is. She is, and despite the stuff, and the crap, she and that he, you know, that men like him are responsible for, you know. She still has a I think she yeah, she's in love with him through the letters and stuff, cuz like I said, she's like a romantic. I'm not really sure if he's I think he was like any other soldier, right me. Soldiers love, and I was a Marine, so I know we love mail. We love mail. I mean, nowadays, there's the internet. You can see your family every day on Skype, you know. Um, but back then, all we had was letters and phone calls. It was no internet. It wasn't anything that like that we had. That's the only thing. You could send a telegram. I mean, that's I mean, that was it. That was it. So letters mean anything. So I think maybe I'm thinking maybe because he didn't finish what he started, he set out to seduce her and didn't get a chance to. So I think it was one of those kind of things that, he just something he wanted to finish up. Okay, I will stop this, look over it, and then I'll take up from here.